Hello there, welcome to the first proper devlog for my game, Project Harbinger. This is a small project that I've been working on for the past few weeks, but most of the progress you're about to see now has been made within the past week. The game itself was originally just a way for me to improve my game development skills, but since developed to a larger scale. I'm now planning on making this a multi-chapter narrative game set in a pseudo-sci-fi world, and I've wanted to make something like this for a while, and some of you may recognize the game name Become. This was planned to be what Project Harbinger is now planned to be, but I had a lot less experience back then and was way out of my league. There is one key difference between these two projects though. The core gameplay element of Become was a grenade, and the core element of this game is movement. This brings me to the multi-tool. This is the first thing you find in the game and is also the first thing you'll likely use. The first mode you're given is called Swinger, and this is basically a grappling hook. You gain some momentum, shoot the gun, and you swing. Pretty simple, but it takes some practice before you know exactly where to shoot to get around easily. The best part about the Swinger mode is it's fully physics-based, so for example, if there is a bunch of moving platforms above you and you need to get to the other side, you can shoot the moving platforms and you'll be taken along with it. In the demo scene you can see this big swinging crate on a crane, and it doesn't have much use, but it's a good example of the physical elements with the swinging. In terms of movement, there's one more important thing. You can climb anything. I mean anything. You see that wall, you can climb it. The crane, climb it. You can even climb along the floor if you want to. I don't judge. So far that's all I have to show for movement, but there is two more modes for the multi-tool to discuss. Firstly, the gravity gun, helpful for moving objects that are in the way basically. The gravity gun can pick up objects of any mass, so if you're too weak to pick up a box, just use the gravity mode. Right now the gravity mode is entirely encased in a separate weapon that isn't in the multi-tool, but it does work. It will be put in the multi-tool later, I'm just lazy. And lastly, the gun. It's pretty simple. It shoots bullets that do damage to enemies. It won't be the most powerful weapon in the game, but it will get you through the early game enemies at least. That takes me to the buzzer. This is the first enemy I made for the game, and the first enemy you'll encounter in the game. Right now it just follows you around and makes an annoying little noise, but this guy has quite a sad backstory that you'll find in the Sanctuary level of the game, which I'm not going to explain. I also made it so you can beat the buzzers up just by punching them. It doesn't do much damage, but you can do it. Now on to the smaller things. I've spent the last few days mostly working on juicing up some of the interactions in the game, so if we look back at my last episode, the inventory just appears, it pops up, and you just have to hope that you're selecting the right thing when you hover over it. So I've now added some animations and some sound effects so you know when you selected something. And for the multi-tool, I've added a little visual representation of which the mode you've selected. It's red for Swinger, blue for the gun, and purple for the gravity mode. Only the Swinger works right now, but you can at least see that it's changing. And I've also added a sound effect, which I made just using a bunch of different sounds from Freesound and mixing them all about in Audacity. And I'm quite happy with how these are coming along, but I appreciate all feedback, so let me know what you think. That's basically all the progress I've made so far this week. There are a few smaller things like the floor textures, the procedural glass, and just the overall learning. Practice is handy. But I want to spend more time on these episodes explaining the game itself, so I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, give me your money, and I'll see you in the next one.